If you've been doing anything other than living under a rock like Patrick Star recently, then you know that Starfield, the much hailed and anticipated Bethesda game, was recently released in early September by Bethesda. However, Starfield is missing a notable feature, and that is the ability to fly your spaceship not only on the actual planet between different landing sites, but also in between planets and directly from planet to space. While I could wait for a modder or Bethesda to add this feature to the game, I'm not very good at waiting, so I decided to try to build a ship that looks like the Frontier from Starfield in Kerbal Space Program 2 to demonstrate to Bethesda just how possible it is to allow this interplanetary travel without loading screens. Hello everyone, my name is Nick and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2 once again. I am returning to this game because I wish it was more than it was, so I'm going to keep inventing challenges for myself to do to continue to make it entertaining. So today, we have built my rendition of a Starfield style ship in Kerbal Space Program 2. Now there's a couple problems with building a ship like this in KSP2. First of all, Kerbal technology is roughly equivalent to what we have nowadays, maybe slightly more advanced. Starfield technology, if you don't know, the game takes place in 2330, which means that it is roughly 300 years in the future. And in addition to grav drives, we see in multiple cutscenes that they have very advanced propulsion systems, stabilization systems, all that other technology nonsense. So, what I've done here is my best to build a cosmetically similar, borderline functional version of a Starfield ship. So we'll do a quick tour, and then we're just going to put this thing through the ringer in flight tests. So first, we have the cockpit here. I used the Bulldog Rover cockpit because I thought it was the closest to what Starfield's cockpits kind of look like, and I do actually quite like the way it looks on a ship. Now, the real star of the show here is these things. So I'm going to throw up a picture of the Frontier on the screen, but essentially, in Starfield, the engines on the side of the ship kind of look just like these air intakes. So unfortunately, while these aren't actually engines, I have used these air intakes to cosmetically sort of replicate what the thrusters look like on the ship in Starfield. Additionally, we have the landing legs, very similar to Starfield. And then I have some monopropellant fuel tanks up here for our RCS thrusters. And I've hidden the engines sort of at the back here in addition to underneath. So the idea is, we see in Starfield that when ships take off, they take off vertically, and then they engage like forward-pointing thrusters to sort of get off the planet. So we've done a similar thing here. I need to add a cover to this. Let me do that. Oh, hello, Shadow. That was strange. That's too big. Is there a nice medium one? Yeah, that looks kind of ugly, though. Whatever. Anyway, we see that in Starfield, did that turn my center mass off? Yeah. That the ships take off vertically, and then they engage their forward thrusters in the rear, and they kind of fly away like that. So that's kind of what we've done here. We have two action groups configured to turn these thrusters on and off, and then the forward thrusters on and off. So there's just one more thing I want to add here, and then we're going to get into the testing phase. I'm going to add another set of RCS thrusters up here. The reason for this being, it is exceptionally difficult to get this thing oriented properly on descent. And the reason for that is because aerodynamics exist, which is one of many problems with this design. This would be, I think, much better in a actual space setting, like on the moon or something. But regardless, too much talk, not enough flying. This is our ship. It is my version of a Starfield ship. Now it is time that we test this thing and see how well it holds up. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are as if we've just landed on the Kerbal planet, completely as if we were in Starfield. So one of my biggest complaints about the game, and again, it's a minor thing, is that they don't actually let you take off and move between locations on planets, and they also don't let you fly off the planet and into space. I understand why it was done, but I still want to fly a spaceship as much as possible. So this is going to be kind of our fix. So we're going to turn our RCS systems on. I'm not sure why they're firing like that. But first we do the liftoff stage. So that's this here. We retract our gear. And then we hit the next stage and we disable our liftoff thrusters. And there you have it. We have liftoff in our version of the Frontier. Now, if I wanted to go to space, of course I want to angle this thing up. And I'm going to turn the thrusters on real high power. Now, it's really, really finicky, especially in the atmosphere, because, again, this game is still extremely poorly optimized, and it's not very good at SAS. So you kind of have to fight with it to get it to work properly. Yeah, see, now it's going to freak out. So, yeah. For some reason, it's decided it wants to go this way. On the plus side, however, once you leave the atmosphere, the RCS thrusters combined with the SAS modules are more than good enough to orient you. But what we're going to do now is we're going to see how high we can go. So our delta V, oh, maybe not. Our delta V in this craft is not above 4,000, which means we will most likely not be able to get into orbit. However, that shouldn't stop us. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. I wish this game, like, functioned normally. Okay, flip you over. Straighten up, and fire those main thrusters. So this is a no return test. We're just seeing how high can this thing go before it starts to seriously freak out. Maybe the RCS is messing with it? Okay, that's enough of that. Let's orient up. That is not up. It's trying its best. Our apoapsis is at 25,000. Okay, are we oriented up? Yes, good. Now fire. And see, it immediately starts to freak out. Oh, you gotta love this game. Okay, so that's gonna take us with a very inefficient flight pattern to 60,000 meters, which is not quite space. Technically, it's almost space. So we'll, you know, for funsies, we'll do a little spacewalk here. Oh, there's an obstacle in front of the EVA port, so we can't even EVA. Oh, it's fine though. It's fine. Everything is just fine. Now, I guarantee you, watch. So, I will turn SA or RCS on now, and it's just gonna freak. It's gonna completely freak out. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. So yeah, there we go. And since we have onboard gyros, we can kind of reorient as we wish in space. I will say this craft performs a lot better in space than it does on a planet or in planetary gravity. And the thing about advanced space travel that's really difficult is it's not hard to maneuver once you're in space because there's no air resistance. It's hard to get out of a planet's gravity well, and it's particularly hard to escape a planet like Earth because Earth has gravity and a relatively dense atmosphere, which means that you're going to be fighting not only air resistance but gravity to get out of the atmosphere. So that's why a lot of rockets use 98% of their fuel just getting into space, and then the other 2% actually completing their mission. This is a good example of that. Now, this has not taken us too far. We've only gotten to the fringes of space. But I want to test the capabilities of this thing a little more on the launch pad. So let's go back to the launch pad here. And we're going to test, can we do a VTOL situation? Which means, can we take off vertically and land vertically? And we're just going to see how maneuverable this thing is in the atmosphere. Alright everybody, so I went ahead and skipped back to daytime here so you guys can actually see what's going on. We're going to try a vertical hop test now. So I'm just going to turn on these thrusters. Okay, we're going to modulate here, try to stabilize above the ground. Retract the gear, turn on RCS. Okay. So we've left the ground. Now let's activate our forward thrusters and disable those. Okay, we'll move forward a bit. And then reactivate ground thrusters and disable those. Okay. So now the tough part. Now we're going to try to land it. So what's difficult, again, about this it takes a special skill set almost to fly this thing, because you have to sort of balance the ship. And there's no SAS function to really do what we want to do, which is to keep the ship oriented basically towards the horizon, horizontal relative to the ground. So let's deploy our gear here. There we go. Very Starfield. It actually looks a lot more like the Starfield ships than I would have thought, specifically because of the landing gear, and these air intakes are just perfect. I wish there were engines that looked like that. Okay, so now we gotta fire the boosters or the engines more to prevent us from touching down too hard. The only problem is we have a little too much forward momentum, so let's try to tilt back to stop that. Okay, calm down. Calm down, little buddy. We're gonna land this thing. Okay, fire. Okay, too much. We gotta stable. There it is. Stability. Just like in the movies. Oh, that's not like in the movies. Okay, well, not quite what we expected, but we did survive. So, interesting. A little bit maneuverable. What I want to try to do now is I want to fly. Let's see. So, we'll revert to launch here. I want to fly as far as we can, and then try to land this thing vertically like you see in the Starfield cutscene. So let's skip forward in time here. There we go. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if we're going to be able to turn. So let's just, yep, tracked gear. And this and that. Okay. Okay, let's be gentle with the thrusters. We don't really need to go crazy with this thing. Try to fly over this way a little bit without crashing. Oh my god, this thing is so hard to control. Okay, alright, turn the thrusters down. Okay, it handles surprisingly well at low speeds. It just gets messed up by air resistance the more it speeds up. Okay, see, now we're gonna have a problem. Okay, let's turn. Turn gradually, slowly. Oh my gosh, why is it actually working? I'm kind of impressed. So it's like ideal speed range in atmosphere is around 160 meters per second. So let's turn some more. Wow, it kind of flies, guys. That's crazy. Okay, now, okay, I've overdone it. All right. Calm down. We can save this. Okay, this is good. We're oriented vertically. Okay. Also would like to point out that RCS has been off for the entire duration of this flight, so that's interesting. Maybe my RCS isn't really working. Okay, let's switch to our landing thrusters now. Okay, we're going to try to bring it in straight here. Turn these down a bunch. So the difficult part, again, is that it is very tough to regulate our forward, backward, and sideways momentum when landing. Kind of have to do it by angling the ship. There are not a lot of VTOL aircraft in existence. There is the VTOL fighter jet whose name escapes me at the moment, and then there is, of course, the Osprey. But I believe those have a lot more thrust vectoring than this janky contraption. Ooh. Oh, and I rolled it right at the last second. Ah, we had that. We should have had that. I'm going to try that again because I really think we can do it. Let's revert to launch one more time here. Yeah, so again, the difficult part about building rockets that function is not actually having them work in space. It's having enough energy to escape the atmosphere. Because once you're in space, it takes comparatively a tiny amount of energy to actually get moving. All right, there we go. The sun is up. Okay. I wonder, there's no way we could land on top of that building, but we're going to try it. All right, so fire. I'm going to leave RCS off since it seemed to be interfering. And fire. There we go. Okay. Let's chill with the thrust. We don't need to go crazy. Slight upward angle of attack just to keep things moving. Okay, that's too fast. Okay, that's actually like pretty stable. Kind of impressed by this thing. Okay, roll, roll, roll. Also, so difficult to control with just arrow keys. Okay, now switch to these thrusters. Okay, we have to really slow down, so... There's no way I'm going to be able to make this. Gear down just in case. Okay, push back a little bit. Angle, angle. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, no. I kind of thought we had it for a minute there. I'm going to try that yet again because honestly that went better than I thought it would. The craft is surprisingly maneuverable for its conditions. I wouldn't expect something like this to perform well on Earth, but it does. And hey, it's a welcome surprise. So let's lift, stow gear, fire, second set of thrusters. What is going on? Okay, okay, okay. I see we are unhappy about the working conditions. Okay, let's try that again. Maybe I need to let it get higher. Oh, you know what it was? I was retracting the landing gear, and when they retract, they go through the thrusters, which of course causes problems. Let's try this one more time. Okay, Valentina, take us away here. Launch, stow, wait for stabilization, there we go, and fire forward thrusters. There it is. Okay, lift up a little bit, there we go. Little lesson in aerodynamics. You might think you need an airfoil to make something that generates lift, but you do not. If you took a flat plate and you gave it a positive angle of attack, which is fancy talk for angled it upward, that flat plate will generate lift. And that is just because of the laws of aerodynamics. Okay, switching. Holy cow. Okay, we're totally missing the rooftop, but... well, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. I'm not going to give up so easily. Okay, alright. Stabilize there. Okay. Now, if I do this correctly, we still have a little bit of... okay, I got to slow us down. We're going way too fast. RCS can help with that. Okay, there we go. We have backward momentum now. So, oh shoot. Okay, deploy the gear. Just do it. Okay, we need a little forward momentum, but not too much. Okay, we're bordering on too much here. Okay, let's bring her in. RCS is keeping us nice and stable. I add a little additional thrust to slow us down. Oh my gosh, are we seriously gonna get this? No, what are you doing? Why? No. Oh. It just all of a sudden stopped functioning normally. Oh no. Okay, well I have to land it successfully at least once, so let's do a quick launch and land here. I actually really like this design for a craft. I'm surprised by how maneuverable it is. And it's performing a lot better than I would have expected. So stow gear. Reduce thrust, fire forward thrusters, disable backward thrusters. Let's just go down the runway. Oh boy, we're gonna crash. Oh, nice. Again, surprisingly maneuverable for a ship of its size and strange configuration. Okay, why are we freaking out? This makes no sense. Alright, well anyway, let's switch thrusters here. Okay, so when I enable RCS to stabilize us. But see, now we're going like super high. There it is. Okay, so project backwards. We want to head back towards the runway. There we go. Also notice how these maneuvers have all cost us like more than half of our fuel, which is very bad if we're trying to travel between planets and we're literally just testing little takeoff and landing. There we go. We want to slow down the fall rate. Okay. Come on, stabilize. Don't make me use the forward thrusters. Okay, alright, there we go. Let's angle forward here. It's almost like how when you re-enter through the atmosphere in a lander, you have to angle the heat shield towards the angle of air resistance in order for it to stabilize, which is kind of what we're doing here. Because if I go too far one way, we suddenly destabilize, and then it becomes a huge problem. Okay, you see now, we don't want to pick up too much forward momentum. There we go. Okay, too much. So let's back it up here. Okay, oh, no. Almost lost it. Okay, now I can't see the ground. Should have skipped to daytime. Silly me. Okay, alright, stable. Fire. Oh, there's just too many controls. My brain is like short-circuiting trying to remember them all. Okay, forward. We just want forward, we don't want... There we go. Okay. And fire. Okay, a little too much, but good angle, Okay, slowly to the surface. Slowly down. Just a tiny little landing. Okay, not right. Oh. Okay, turn them off. Okay. Well, that was moderately successful, but I think we can all agree that the issue with this project is not as much the design as it is my piloting skills. Anyway, this has been another video on Kerbal Space Program 2. I just thought we would take one space-related game and sort of see how it performs in another. I'm actually surprised by how well this worked. I thought it would be completely unworkable. But yeah, anyway, Starfield is super cool if you haven't played it yet. There's a lot of mixed reviews about it, but I personally am really enjoying it. I think if you set aside the hype and just appreciate it for what it is, which is a fun space exploration game, it's quite enjoyable. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.